Welcome to the Gray Wren Nest Sewing Studio. It's been about 5 years since I did a last update, so I thought I would share again. Just beyond this rolling door is my sewing studio, and I absolutely love this place. It is my serene, quiet, just my peaceful place that I go every day after work and on weekends. This is my main sewing area, and I'm going to slowly pan around the room and give you an idea of what it looks like, and then I'll go step by step and show you all the various aspects of what my sewing room's all about. Here you can see an embroidery machine and a quilting machine and my cutting table and some of the ways that I store some of my items, my camera setup. And then I always like to have a shelf where it's just pretty. I don't know if any of you have that. And there's my laser machine. It's a We Create laser. And the latest sewing project that I just posted on, waiting for the customer to pick it up. And here's from a different angle. That's the sliding door I walk through. And then there's my quilt project wall that I put my quilts on as I make them. And here's my industrial sewing machine. It's the Cowboy 341 with some IKEA shelving there. I'll go through that in a little bit as well. Of course, I have to have a TV in there. Everybody has to have a TV. And there's my model that I put all my leather crossbodies on. And now I'm back to my regular sewing station again. At this main sewing station, I have a Cricut 3 maker, and you can see I have a rotating cutting mat there, and also some Cricut maker items like blades and stuff in this station. And there's a camera set up for when I do videos on my sewing machine, a little OT light, and my printer. And this is my brother. It's a double embroidery machine. It was one of my first embroidery machines, but I use it for a main sewing machine. And I've recently switched over to these quilter pens. I think I'm going to really enjoy those. They're easier to grip. And here's my ironing station. So you'll notice I created a triangle of a cutting board, a sewing machine, and an ironing station right in one spot. This is my medium weight. It says heavy duty, but it's not because I have an industrial. This is my medium weight sewing machine that I use for quite a few things. And then I have a computer set up here. So when I'm not sewing, I'm editing my projects on this computer here. And then I have an Imagine Baby Lock serger. It's a self-threading serger. Can't go wrong with a self-threading serger. And then I have some few areas in this area to have storage. I have this on each end of my cutting table for storage where I put all of my scraps by color. And then this is part of my embroidery machine, my PRS 100 Brother embroidery machine. It's a single needle. I adore it. It has an 8x8 hoop. And that's where I first learned how to do quilting, was with my embroidery machine. But as you can see here in a little bit, I'm going to pan around. You'll see a even bigger quilting machine. But here I have my Cricut press, a couple of my Cricut presses, and some more IKEA storage. I store a lot of my vinyl in these drawers here. And of course I have to add a pretty touch there because this is where I sit most of the time and I want it to look nice. So I added things on the wall. Once again, we're the Gray Wren, so this is my Gray Wren sign, and I also love gardening. So I have flowers in here. And this was a recent quilt that I made for a wall hanging. I did a video on this one as well if you'd like to go back through my videos. Show you how to make this and quilt it. But it's a perfect wall hanging in here. And then this is my latest. This is my quilter. This is a Grace Unique 16X Elite long arm. This is an 8-foot frame, so I can do up to a queen size quilt on it. And it is just, oh, I just can't tell you how much I love this machine. And I look forward to coming home and creating new quilts on it. So panning around the room from my quilter, of course I have my shelving here. I do have a lot of my quilting items, tools and whatnot on this shelf, but also some pretty items that just make me happy. I do have a walkout basement door here, and then on that side of the door is my Recreate laser machine, and I have a air purifier there so that if I can't open my door, at least I can have some pure air while it's working. And it's been fun to work with my laser. I do a lot of leather items, and that's what I use that for. So here I'm panning around again so you can have another view on this side of my workshop. And there's some more containers. I have ribbon and zippers and whatnot in there. But I bet you're wondering where I keep most of my supplies. Through this door is where all of my stuff is kept. And my friends joke with me that I have a Joann Fabrics in my basement. But here's a pan around. And I'll go into a little more detail here in a minute. But this is where I store all of my supplies. And when we moved into this place, I just knew this basement, this house was meant for me. I mean, this is the perfect setup. These were 4-foot bookshelves, and I took the shelves out and used them in a different area. I'll show you in a little bit. But this is where I store my interfacing, some leftover quilting batting, and I look at that shelf right there, that makeshift shelf. That is from a fabric bolt. And then some of my terry cloth there. I have another makeshift shelf from a fabric bolt. And then down here, my tall vinyls. And here I have a brand new roll of batting that I haven't opened yet, dying to make some more quilts. This is an area that I'm really proud of. My son-in-law made these containers out of yardsticks, out of rulers, and I color code the fabrics. I have a lot. I'm a hoarder, can't deny that, but I've also been sewing for well over 50 years, so you collect fabric over time, and so I try to color code them. So here's my blacks and my grays. And these containers hold fabrics that are like a half yard to a yard, if not more, of the fabric itself. So that my scraps are in different bins. But here's some golds and oranges and greens. And I have to use a ladder to get up to these bins, but it's well worth it to, you know, have storage vertical. And then over on this, panning over this direction, I have some more shelves. On these shelves, I have the type of fabric that's more tapestry type fabrics that I use with my leather projects. Once again, I try to store them and color code them. I still use my longer burger baskets to store some leather items, you know, tooling that I work with. Here are the fabrics you can see that I've color coded them as I work my way down the shelf. Most of this I did get at like Joann Fabrics. I'm really sad to hear that they're going out of business. I'm sure most of you are also sad about that. And then as I work my way down and over to the next side of the shelves here, you'll see that I have some softer leathers that I can actually fold up and put on shelves. And this is more scrap leather here. And then some string leather that was left over from some projects, and some foam. These go into our leather wallets. And I actually have a blank shelf for storage, believe it or not. Isn't that exciting? Panning around this direction, I have more storage. These are legs pantyhose storage units from a department store that closed down many, many years ago, and I snagged them up knowing that I was going to be able to use them in my sewing room. And this is all the ribbon I've collected over the years. My mom was a great creative person as well, and she had a lot of ribbon. I inherited some of hers as well. So look at all that ribbon. Sometimes I don't know what to do with it, but I also don't want to give it up, because once I give it up, I'll know I'll need it. Panning this direction, I got my Longaberger baskets out again, and then also some storage baskets from Michael's. I needed a way to color code all of my leather scraps, and that's what I have here. I'll show you here in a second how I color coded them. I'm known around these parts for all of my leather goods, purses, wallets, backpacks. So I make a lot of those items. I'll show you it at the end of the video. So here are my my reds and pinks, and my oranges, my blues, my grays and blacks, these are my leather straps, the scraps of them, and then my yellows. My son-in-law made me this leather railing system to roll up my leathers. I had, in the beginning, this worked great. Didn't have a lot of leathers, so this was the area that held it. But over time, my leather passion outgrew my space, so I got pretty creative and started storing them upright like this. And those bottom rungs just hold the leather pieces in place, the leather rolls, and it works out great. As you can see, my son-in-law is a pretty handy man, and he does a lot of stuff for us. We really appreciate him. Here's some more Longaberger baskets with all of my brown leather scraps in it. And then I have a pegboard here, nothing fancy, but one thing that I do like, I got these containers at Harbor Freight to store all of my hardware in, and I love it because it has a clear front and I can see what I have and what I need. And here, once again from Harbor Freight, I have the metal bar that I just added. You know, I set them on top of some hooks there, and you can't have too many scissors, can you? At least I don't think so. And then up here, I store all of my threads, and I have to make sure they're color-coded so that they're all in the right spot. I see a wine color there that's out of place. I need to move that. But if I pan around here, you can see my color coding system going on. The only thing, the drawback is that my threads, you can see those strings hanging down over time. It gets to be a little bit messy, and I have to go back in and roll up all of my thread. And then up there is my serger thread at the very top. I have another door in my main part of my sewing room that I want to share with you. It takes you to a furnace room where I had to get creative on space and move some of my industrial machinery into a different area. This is my strap cutter, my leather strap cutter, and boy do I love it. It gives perfect cuts every time I use it, and I can cut 4 straps at a time, 1 inch wide. And here is my skiver. For those of you who don't know what a bell skiver is, I can run leather through this bell skiver, and it will thin it down so that when I want to sew a seam, the seam is very thin. And here's my regular ironing board. When I have to get out those big projects, I need a big ironing board. And then just outside that door, I showed you earlier where I keep my leather crossbody purses. Look at these gorgeous straps and these gorgeous colors that I have here. We go to craft shows during the fall, so I use my spring and summer to work on my leather projects, and I save them all up, and we go to craft shows and sell them during vendor shows. Soon I'll start sharing leather sewing projects with you. Then back through this door, I have more projects to share. This is the room that I store my, or I should say display my leather goods that are ready for craft shows. I needed an area to display everything that I make so that I know what I still need to make during the spring and the summer months. And this is how I keep track of my inventory. And then, sometimes throughout the year, I will get customers who want to come in and look at what I have, and this is just a nice way to display everything. So these are the wallets that I make, and the crossbodies are in the other room, but these are my totes. This is from the other side of the room, and yes, that is a pool table, and I don't use it as a pool table. This is where I keep my projects that I still need to make, and it's the only way I know how to organize it right now. This is a project that I already made, waiting for a customer to pick up, and it's a quilt that I made. It's a recycled quilt. I did a video on that one too. You'll have to look it up. It turned out gorgeous. And then these are some wallets that I have to get done this summer. Different colored wallets, different sizes. And there is extra fabric from that quilt jacket I showed you that I made for a customer. I'm going to make another quilt jacket. This is my quilt backing, and I'm getting ready to make a gorgeous quilt for fall for one of my relatives. And this is going to be another upcoming project. I'm going to be doing some upcycled jean jackets, so they had to have a place to stay, and yes, I could put them back in that one area where I keep all my supplies, but why? I hope you enjoyed this tour of the Wren Sewing and Craft Studio. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in our next video.